I got him on a counter here.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Don DeMarco's here on the patio, 9785 West Charleston Boulevard, to the Jim Feist Pro Football Handicapping Show, where our panel always consists of all sharps and no squares, and our audience is the smartest from Yale to jail. We got a couple of returning guests with us today. We're going to get into a lot of things, but we are live on both Don DeMarco's YouTube channel and Proline TV. Text your questions or comments anytime during our show. Jim, how are we feeling today? Better this week?
Let's say 60% better than last week.
60% better than last week. All right, well, let's get into our guest. One from Fox Sports Radio and the very popular weekly sports column show Inside the Fratto House. Welcome back, Bernie Fratto. How are you?
Hi, good to be back.
And also, second time with us this year, began by working the sports book at the Barbary Coast and is now a member of the Sports Gambling Hall of Fame, Jeff Whitelaw.
Good to be here as well.
All right, let's get into it. Bernie, let me start here with the most important question of the day. What's your favorite menu item here at Don DeMarco's?
Yes.
Yes.
Nothing I don't have to cop out without. I don't care if it's meatballs, pizza, a chicken Caesar salad, even that cauliflower crust pizza once, anything I've ever ordered. What's my go-to? Pepperoni and green pepper pizza.
All right. Jim, you said you have an opening for him. You got something you want to talk about off the bat before I get in asking questions?
What, you're talking about football? Well, I find it interesting how the media starts putting crowns on people and teams being the best player, the best quarterback I've ever seen, the best rookie I've ever seen, the best team. This team's destined for the Super Bowl. Does anybody think that the Buffalo Bills looked like a Super Bowl team the other night? I certainly didn't.
Well, then let me ask you this. Who's the best team in football in your mind?
Well, I think right now at this moment, there's some good teams and there's some bad teams. But this is week 7. We only played 6 games. We've got 17 regular season. Long way between now and February. Who the hell can predict all the injuries, the players that will be out, like Joe Burrow and things like that, or Lamar and stuff like that. All those things that are going to happen, and they will happen because they always happen. So right now, the upward teams, the teams that are really starting to play really well, Kansas City looks amazing at the moment. The Colts look amazing. And nobody, I don't think, anybody would thought the Colts in Seattle would look as good as they do. And who the hell could have predicted, although I think I did, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would look, and I have a 28-1 ticket on Mayfield being the rookie of the year, or not rookie of the year, most valuable player, and them making it to the championship in the NFC. And I think that's still possible, although they're banged up as well.
Bernie, let me ask you something going not completely opposite of that, but a little bit. The Bears are making a habit of these late finishes, and now they're going to be at home against a New Orleans team that's not very good. They're a 5.5-point favorite, 46.5 on the total. Do you like the Bears this week at home?
No,
you do not.
I don't, and I'm waiting to find a 6. I'm glad you brought up the Bears because all of a sudden they're the moment's rage. And I'm sorry, they still have a lot of issues. They beat the Raiders, they beat the hapless Cowboys. The Raiders are hapless too, and the game was a fait accompli until Monday night. Jaden Daniels said, "Here, let me just go ahead and give you the ball back and let your field goal kicker beat us." I'm not sold on them at all. Interestingly enough, you're right. The Saints aren't good, but they play hard. It turns out Kellen Moore can coach, and I think he's got a lot of Spencer Rattler, and I would not be surprised at all. I don't like a hothouse team going to a cold city. It's supposed to be 51 and raining, I think, Chicago. But it would not surprise me at all if they hang this number. The Bears are a long way from being buttoned up, and although Caleb Williams has shown improvement, he still misses wide open receivers.
Jeff, you agree with that?
The game, I think the game was down to 4.5, 5. And I would have certainly taken 7. I was hoping maybe, when they rehung the game after the Bears beat still the Redskins to me, that maybe they would have overcompensated it. But Yeah, I mean the Bears short week. You know, you could only play New Orleans or nothing. But again, New Orleans isn't a very good team. Certainly not on the road either. So I don't have a play on that. But you know, New Orleans or nothing.
He brought up a great point, and I haven't fired on it, but New Orleans in their 2 road games has given up 75 points.
That's nice. That sounds like an over bet. You start giving up that kind of points, I'm going to start bet over.
Let me
Well,
ask.
every week, everybody, somebody's in a hurry to bet Dallas under every week, and every week they go over, and every week the wise guys bet them under, and you know I just wait for them to bet the total down a couple points and bet them over. They can't stop anybody, and they still score. And Lamb may or may not come back this week. Maybe another over for Dallas.
I bet 2 automatic plays on Dallas every week this year. I bet the team total over, and I bet the game over, and it's worked out most of the time.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why people keep going. Now, granted, there's a number out there that's too high.
It's at 55 right now.
Yeah, it's a big number, and this is the biggest number
Yeah.
of the whole season for anybody. So
So wait, Jim. It might be 52 in a few days. Just wait.
yeah, you're right.
Well, Dallas gives up 31 points a game.
Jim, let me ask you this. In that game, playing Washington at home, should the Commanders fans remain optimistic about their season?
Well, I think you can be optimistic about certain parts of every team, but there's flaws on every team. This is not to be critical and negative. I don't want to be negative. I want to be positive. There are positive things to say about a lot of teams, and there's negative things to say about a lot of teams. The Commanders have their pluses and their minuses. There's no A team in football in the NFL this year, in my opinion. Now, I think there's some B's and B plus teams that could maybe develop into an A team after the regular, when we get down to the end of the season, January, February. But that's going to take a little while because right now they're not there.
So on this game, then, it was at 2. Washington is a favorite. Last time I looked, it's down to 1.5 and a 55 total. I know you just talked about the total, but do you like either side on this, or is this just you pass on the total on the line?
Oh boy.
Jeff, you got a pick on this game?
I think
No.
maybe the money line on the favorite would be the only way out there. I wouldn't lay any points.
Okay. Bertie, back to you. Chiefs should have their full complement of wide receivers with Rashee Rice's return from suspension. They got the Raiders coming in. It's a big number. It's at 11.5 point favorite. The total's 45.5. I know the Raiders are bad, and a lot of people don't like to lay double digits. But is this a game you might look at doing that or not?
I won't rule it out because the last 4 times these 2 teams have met, it's been decided by 7 points or less. And for whatever, the Raiders, they look at the Chiefs as their Super Bowls. But it's probably a pass for me. There's simply better games on the board for me. This game does have real blow-off potential. And you get Rashee Rice back. And to Jim's point, it's a week-to-week league, so you don't know. People think the Chiefs are the best team in football right now, but they're 3-3. Last week we sat here, everybody thought Detroit, I was one of them. But they're 4-2. The Chiefs are 3-3, but the Chiefs are 3. So it's just stay away game.
Jeff, is this a game you might bet the over on?
No, I took the Raiders for the exact reason Bernie said it. For whatever reason, and I don't understand it, but trends are trends. The Raiders always seem to play the Chiefs tough, and every time they play them, it looks like it's going to be a blowout on paper. But taking double digits in a divisional game, teams familiar with each other. At this point, I'm not positive if Bowers may come back or not. I mean, I like it regardless. Obviously, a lot better if he does come back. But I just see maybe a 10-point Chiefs by 10, which and taking the 13 is for me is the play.
Everything he said is spot on. The one caveat is this guy Geno Smith likes to throw the ball to the other team, and that will keep me off the game at least for now.
Geno's been in the league, 12, 13 years or something like that. He has one really good year. And the rest of the time, he's been average or bad.
And he usually has one great game a year, and he had that the first week.
Well,
So
this
he's-
year, every year, he's consistently terrible. Really terrible.
So I wrote a question for this week, and when I wrote it, and then when I went to type it up, I'm like, this has to be asked to Jim Feist. I have to ask you this question. John Harbaugh, the Ravens run a bye. They're 1-5, and he believes they can still make the playoffs. And he said he's going to lean hard on Lamar Jackson for this big turnaround. What are your thoughts on that statement?
I was giving traffic.
You want me to say it again?
No.
Okay.
So you're saying Harbaugh said he's going to lean on Lamar Jackson.
And he believes they can make the playoffs even though they're 1-5.
Well, of course they can make the playoffs. I mean, you have who's leading the division? You got Pittsburgh, who everybody thought they were not even going to have a winning record, and nobody really thinks they're that good. So yeah, it's possible, and there have been other teams that started out 1-5 and made the playoffs. You don't need to have a super record to make the playoffs. You can be 8-9 and make the playoffs.
Well, here's the thing: is Lamar Jackson good enough to bring him back from 1-5?
I'd have to say two answers. In the regular season, he has proven to be a winning quarterback. In playoffs and big games, no, he doesn't seem to step up. But now that they're under the gun, they're 1-5. He certainly has the talent. Now, is it between the years that causes the problem? I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's Harbaugh, because Harbaugh has been in charge of this team for a long time, and they have led the league in giving up double-digit fourth quarter leads. Now, that doesn't come down to Lamar. That comes down to coaching. And I think maybe the conservatism of Harbaugh might be the real problem. So they get these big leads. They're up 10 points, they're up 12, they're up 15, they're up 14. In the fourth quarter, they lose. Well, the same thing happens to them in the playoffs. That type of mentality, I'm gonna play not to lose, is a killer.
I want to stay with you because we're going to stay in the division for the Thursday night game with Pittsburgh going to Cincinnati. It's 5.5 on the line and 43.5 total. Do you like this game over after what Cincinnati put up in the second half this week?
First of all, you have two 40-year-old quarterbacks. And obviously you have a coach on Tomlin who never posts a losing record during the regular season. Or the other coach on the other side, Cincinnati's questionable guy. But he's also gotten his team to the Super Bowl. But they don't have Joe Burrow. So you would have to say Flacco is a big upgrade from what they had before. Because they were playing with the backup quarterback to begin with. But Flacco knows how to win. He has a great arm. He knows how to bring out Chase and Higgins and get them the ball and they're the playmakers. They're the guys that make it happen. I would say this game is going to go over. Cincinnati doesn't have much of a defense, and Aaron Rodgers can pick apart anybody. He's not the old Aaron Rodgers. Nobody's the old somebody. You know, we all fall off the cliff. But yes, I think both of these teams are going to score enough points to go over that low total, and I wouldn't be surprised if Cincinnati doesn't cover the spread.
Jeff, you got a thought on this game?
I have to disagree with Jim a little bit on. I haven't heard big upgrade from for Flacco in about 10 years. But I would say he's a slight upgrade, and I favor the home dog here. Pittsburgh off of the win, short week, division. Again, everything. Cincinnati's not a good team, but these divisional games, they always seem to come right down to the end. And a lot of these games, these TV games, have all been seemingly coming right down to the end. So, I would definitely be on the dog here. Cincinnati could even win the game, but certainly it could be a very close game.
Bernie?
Divisional dog on a Thursday night standalone game. That's the only way you can look. Jim Whitmore and I talked about that last week. Giants catching 7 at home. They end up winning by 17. I'm not predicting that. What'll keep me off the side is Pittsburgh has the best turnover margin in the NFL. I expect them to get 1 or 2. But I also expect both quarterbacks to air it out, and I actually played the over for half a game.
Bernie, I want to stay with you. Let's move to Sunday. With the Rams going to Jacksonville, it's at 3 and a 44.5 total.
That's it.
Oh, that's in London. I'm sorry. That's from London. Do you like either one on this?
Well, if Puka Nakua were playing, I might look at the game a little different. But if he's not playing, and right now it doesn't look like he is, I think he's going to miss more than 1 week. He's got a weight-bearing injury on that ankle. Jacksonville is a pretty stingy run defense. They allow 90 yards per game, so I think points are going to be at a real premium here. The line 3 is probably where it should be. And I'm a little spooked that Jacksonville did not fare well against Seattle. I thought they would have put themselves better. So it's a stay away from me.
Jeff?
I played the Jags plus the 3. Nakua is pivotal to their offense. I mean, when he catches 8 or 9 catches a game, target him like 12. So without him, they're going to have to rely on the run a little bit better. And as Bernie said, Jacksonville has a stingy defense. Jacksonville's played a lot of these games over there in London. They're used to it. And coming off the loss, I think the Jags get up for the game, and I think the game should be closer to like 1.5. So I'll take the 3 in the spot.
Jeff, what do you think about the total? I was kind of looking towards the under.
I would lean towards the under, if anything, yes.
Let me go with you, Jim. And with Minnesota going to Philadelphia, it opened at 2.5. It's down to 1.5 and a 43.5 total. Minnesota.
It's in Minnesota.
It's in Minnesota.
No, I'm sorry, it's in Minnesota.
It's in Minnesota. Yeah.
Another home dog.
Well, who's the quarterback for Minnesota? That's a big question.
Well, is it going to be Wentz? He won.
Well, I would rather Wentz. I'm not sure that McCarthy is ready for the NFL yet. I like him, and I think he's going to be very good. But I think he needs more time to develop, and I would not want to play. I think this is an underplay for me. I don't see anybody putting up a lot of points. I mean, obviously, both offenses have struggled, and the quarterback issues are there. I don't know what the hell's going on with the Philadelphia team. Why they won't throw the ball? They got one of the best wide receivers. I don't get it. I don't know what's happening. But I like the under of the game.
What about you, Bernie?
I would lean under, but what concerns me is the Eagles' run defense ranks 27th. So if the Vikings can establish any kind of run game, and I don't know that J.J. McCarthy's not going to be back. I know his ankle's healed, but they just haven't put him back in yet. Philly has not lost 3 consecutive games in 3 years. It feels like a get-right game for Philly and Saquon. So I would lean Philadelphia.
You know, last year in the middle of the season, Philadelphia went through a little spell as well. They had a bunch of problems internally, and then they got righted, and then they win the Super Bowl. Jeff, to you, do you think McCarthy will start this game, or do you think it's going to be Wentz?
You know, I don't know if I were coaching, I would have Wentz, and if I'm betting, if McCarthy starts, I'm betting the Eagles, and if Wentz starts, I'm going to probably pass.
There you go. Let me stay with you with Panthers and the Jets. I mean, is this a game where Jets can finally, get into the column that they haven't been able to find this year?
I hope not, because I bet the Panthers +1 when the number came out. I thought, again, Carolina 3-0 at home, 0-3 on the road. Not a great spot, but then anytime you're playing the Jets, it's a good spot. So I'm thinking, you got one team, that has won 3 out of 4, granted 3 at home, but decent opponents, and I figure, we got one team going in one direction, and the Jets are just dismal. So I took Carolina just on, the Donald's has been running unbelievable, and I just figure, that the Jets shouldn't have been favored over anybody.
Bernie, on the same game, I heard something over the weekend coming into this week, with the Panthers being week 1, what they were saying. If the Jets don't win in the next 3 weeks, with this being the first week, they may go winless. Would you buy that?
Well, I covered an 0-18, 0-16 Lions team in the weight division, so I've seen it all. The NFL is a week-to-week game, but there's a larger issue here, the elephant in the room. I know I'm going to hell on a scholarship because I don't say good things about Justin Fields. Everybody else does. But he's 14-35 as a starter for a reason. He's 0-26 when his opponents score just 20 points or more. He has no idea what he's looking at. He drops back and says, "Oh, there's 3 wide open receivers. Let me just take off and run. Put my shoulder into a linebacker." it's maddening. If Rico Dowdle continues what he's doing, I feel like this is this is a Carolina team that beat somebody 30-0 a few weeks ago. So there's no way I can back the Jets at all. No way in hell.
Are you on anything on this game?
Not yet, but I probably will fire on Carolina.
Well, well, first of all, everything everybody said is I totally agree with. Fields is not an NFL quarterback. He's never been an NFL quarterback. I don't know why everybody keeps trying to make him into one. He just doesn't have it. He has the physical tools, but there's a lot of players that come out of college and have physical tools, and they just can't put it together. And I think it's time to stop with that nonsense with him. But the problem with Carolina is, and I don't know what the hell's going on. When was the last time they won a road game? It might be 3 years ago. I mean, they just don't win on the road.
That was the question I asked: is could the Jets finally get one here with that?
Well, that plays the psychology of losing every damn game for 3 years on the road might play into it. But Carolina looks like a way better team, and Dowdle running the way he's playing. I guess Dallas got rid of him because he wasn't good enough. And I don't understand that one, but that's Dallas for you. But anyway, I would play Carolina here, probably on the money line.
Speaking of quarterbacks, I think Bryce Young has progressed tremendously under Dave Canale. I expected that to happen. And it's baked into the line. If the Jets are home and they can't, enough about that game. The line's where it probably should be.
Two things, Jim. Number one, Carolina is a terrible road team, as I said. But how many times in those 3 years did they play the Jets? And number two, who is the general manager of the Cowboys?
Well, the Mr. Everything of the Cowboys is Jerry Jones, who should be doing something else besides messing up his football team. He's a mess.
You should just count his
he's a
oil
mess,
money.
and the team is a mess. But, I think, when you talked about Canales and Bryce Young, a lot of times these quarterbacks need to be matched up with the coach, whether it's an offensive coordinator or a head coach. There's a marriage going on there. There has to be some kind of chemistry between them for them to develop. I mean, look at Darnold. He was a mess. Now he's in Seattle. He's doing great. He was in Minnesota doing great. There's a lot of times these guys don't do really good right away. Now, I don't know, like when you're talking about Chicago and Caleb, with the head coach they have, who's actually an offensive coordinator, he might develop into something. I don't know. Give him a couple of years to grow up. I mean, when were you 22 years old? And now were you? I mean, our brains don't work the same.
I wasn't painting my nails.
But what color matters? What color you're painting your nails?
That's right.
You know right away if a quarterback can play. My 10 years of covering lines, you really do see. It's a position you play with your eyes. You take mental snapshots, you receive the ball, and you got to execute in less than 2 seconds. Dave Canales, if you retrace the history, look what he did with Russell Wilson 10 years ago in Seattle. Look what he did with Baker Mayfield 2 years ago in Tampa Bay, which set the stage for Liam Cohen, what Baker's doing now. So I'll give you that quarterback combination over the quarterback combination, coach combination with the Jets, and he leads Carolina at the time.
Excellent analysis.
Let's segue into another team that's not very good, and that's the Tennessee Titans, who are at home against the Patriots. The line is 7, and the total is 42. Jim?
Everybody's expecting a bounce because they have a new coach now. I don't know if they have the talent to have a bounce. I just don't see the talent on this Tennessee team. They're clearly the worst roster in football. Now, can they? I don't know where they get the bounce from. Anybody else have an opinion?
Well, let's not poo-poo New England. They're looking like a playoff team.
They've won, what, 3 in a row?
And looking good doing it. And Drake May is the goods. He can play. And we're neatly ignoring what I think is an underrated sort of a aspect when you look for strength versus weakness. It's a little esoteric, but this is Mike Vrabel's return to Tennessee where they fired him. Oh, you're getting max effort out of New England. And I don't know how Tennessee scores points. This game feels like it's 23-6 written all over it. Wow. Not that I ever want to lay 7 on the road in this lifetime, but you can't grab the points here, can you?
Well, there is a stat. Teams playing their third consecutive road games in the last 10 years in the NFL are 11, 23, and 2, which is a whopping 31% against the spread. So, do I want Tennessee +7, or maybe even 7.5 by kickoff? No, but I certainly couldn't bet New England in this spot. That third game on the road is difficult. You know, no matter how. I mean, again, a mismatch, and yes, the coach adding a new coach. I mean, they obviously weren't playing before, and maybe a new coach sparks them a little bit. I mean, typically, you know, you want to bet on the new coach, but again, Tennessee's just a bad football team, so I'm going to pass. Although everything would indicate you bet Tennessee in this spot.
Jeff, I want to stay with you in the next game with the Giants going to the Broncos. The line is 7, total at 40.5. Are the Giants better than we think, or is this the game that we find out that they're not as good as we thought they were?
I'm not so sure they're good. I mean, again, Scadaboo. I mean, he barrels people over every time he runs. I mean, he's like a bowling ball. He just knocks people over. Dart, you know, has given him a lot of, you know, they're playing for him. Dart plays great. You know, he's a rookie. You know, the team loves him. Fans love him. But now you're going up against a very, very difficult place to play with a very good defense. This is not a good spot for the Giants. You know, they went on the road to a bad New Orleans game, and they turned the ball over a lot. And I don't like the Giants on the road. Certainly, I would be, if this went below 7, which I think it may even have been, or maybe even a money line or a teaser on Denver. I don't see Denver losing this game.
You would take it at 6.5 or under. Bernie?
I can't lie. I grabbed Denver at 7. Check that. I grabbed the Giants at 7. They got my attention. Since Jackson Dart took over, they're averaging 23 points a game. Cam Scadaboo is the rolling ball of butcher knives, but he's going up against a defense that only allows 89 yards a game. So that's going to be something to look at. Look at Sean Payton as a favorite of 7 or more. He doesn't cover. He doesn't. I don't know why, but that's one of those trends to me that correlates. Maybe he's deliberate, whatever the case may be. This Giant team looks confident to me, and they're getting 7 points after what they did in Philadelphia a week ago, and a little more time to prepare. So it's a kind of a little bit of a hold your nose and play it. But the Giants have got my attention.
Well, I think the Giants have my attention too, but the problem is the best unit on the field is the defense for Denver. And there's a lot of questions about Bo Nix. He hasn't been consistent. So you look at that. I'm going to have to say that the defense is very capable. If they show up for the game, they're very capable of shutting this team down. Maybe 10 points. The Giants might get 10 out of it. And I think Denver can cover, but I like the game to go under. I just don't see where the Giants are going to get that many points against this defense. And Bo Nix Giants do have a pretty good front 7 on defense. So I think it's probably an underplay.
You know, at the beginning of the show, you talked about the Colts being one of the teams that are a little bit of a surprise this year. And they're going to be heading to LA to play the Chargers. The line's at 1.5. It's 48.5 total. Is this a game that you believe that the Colts can go on the road and pull off a win? You.
Me? Wow, the Colts are such a surprise. Indiana Jones, the way he's playing. They got Taylor, running back. And you have all these injuries on the Chargers. And I think if they were playing anybody but the inept Dolphins last week, they would have lost. This team is really banged up. I mean, this is a time of year where you really have to look at the injury list for all these clubs. They have a great coach there, a great quarterback there. There's no question. But how the hell they keep overcoming these injuries? The Colts they're not hurt like this. They don't have that many injuries. I think the Colts can win this game. I think it definitely, the way they're playing offense for the Chargers, you don't really have a home field advantage there. You know, I'm not sure how much home field matters to anybody in the NFL anymore. but they don't really have a home field advantage in LA. So I'm going to have to say this game is an overplay, and I would lean towards the Colts.
Jeff, would you lay the 1.5 in this?
Again, everything Jim said is correct, and the Chargers they're beat up, and but I don't know, they seem to somehow pull out wins. I like the Colts as a home team, and not so much on the road. Although they went out to LA and they played the Rams really tough. In fact, they should have won that game. But again, I don't. It would be the Chargers or nothing here for me.
Bernie, I want to go on to the next game with the Packers going to Arizona. And Arizona, to me, is this anomaly team that I can't get my finger on. The line's at 6.5, totals at 44.5. What's your thoughts on this matchup, first off?
And Kyler Murray's not starting, correct?
That's the last I heard.
Right. Well, I actually think they're slightly better
without him.
Jacoby. Yeah, that offense looked pretty good last week. They gave the Colts everything they could humanly handle. Packers haven't covered the last 3 weeks, probably because you're paying a Packer tax after what they did to the Lions week 1. They're laying 6.5, another road favorite. By the way, where's this vaunted Green Bay pass rush? You haven't had like 2 sacks in the last 3 weeks. I just don't like the game. I'm sorry. Something's wrong with this weird Arizona team. The guy drops the ball on the goal line, and the coach got to apologize to him, and he pays a $100,000 fine. My high school coach would have killed me. I mean, what are we doing? So they're just better games on the board. I don't mean to cop out here, but I don't really like either side because Green Bay's laying a pretty heavy number on the road.
Jeff?
I'm going to agree with Bernie. I have nothing on this game, and again, it's if it were to, maybe if it went to 7, I might make a tiny play on the cards, but this Cardinal team, they're not very well coached.
I think the roster is good, but I think you just hit the nail on the head. They're just not well coached. Are you doing anything with this game?
Well, I'm not. I don't know that Kyler Murray's playing or not. Probably not, but I'm not a Kyler Murray fan anyway. Right. Brissett has always been a solid guy. He has the occasional game where he really plays well like he did last week. I don't know that that's consistent, but if you saw a 7, I would definitely take the dog because I'm really not a Jordan Love fan either. I think he's very overrated. He's had a couple good moments here and there, but he's just not an A+ type or even an A quarterback. He's good at times and otherwise very average. Green Bay, I don't know where the sacks are where they're not coming from because they have the players to do it, but they're not getting it. But I would have to take 7 if I saw it.
Cardinals are on a 4-game losing streak, so everybody knows. But the last 3 home games have been decided by 5 points or less. That makes a case if you want to grab it.
Jim, I want to go to a game that I know you're going to be crazy to watch, and that's the Dolphins going to Cleveland. I know you're going to be all over watching this game. The Lions now moved from 3 to 2.5 with a total of 39.5 or 39.5. Are you interested in this? I know you're not interested in the game personally, but are you in it from a betting standpoint?
Actually, what are you smoking these days? I mean, why the hell would anybody? I don't know what these two teams are doing except playing for next year. The Dolphins are a mess. They should have fired the coach at the beginning of the year. I like the Cleveland coach. I know they're rebuilding, so I can't really criticize them. They're trying out the new quarterbacks. They got rid of Flacco, I think they got rid of Flacco so they could piss off Pittsburgh. I mean, I really do. Because now they're trying out the rookies that they have. I don't know what to say with this game. Probably bet the under, most likely.
Jeff, are you going to do anything with this game?
Yeah, I did. In fact, Cleveland -2 is one of my best bets of the week. I think Miami's in absolute disarray. And now they're going on the road. Cleveland has a fantastic defense, and I just think this is a spot for Cleveland to win. You won't see me laying points with Cleveland very often, but I think against Miami in this particular spot, I think that's the thing. I mean, Cleveland's defense is very good.
The other game
Jeff,
you might lay against
Jeff,
the Jets.
How many times have you seen Cleveland favored in the last decade?
Decade? I don't know. We might have to go back to Bernie Kosar.
Oh, yeah,
A long time.
I remember him.
Well, they might, if they're playing the Jets, they might get favored again. Bernie?
I'm with Jeff. I think we're going to look up, I could eat my words, and Cleveland's going to be up 17-3 and say, why didn't we see this coming? This is just a bad spot for Miami. Tough loss. It's a little scary because Cleveland hasn't scored more than 17 points in any game this year. But Dylan Gabriel has caught my attention a little bit. He's efficient. If they turn him loose a little more, and I think Cleveland prevails. I do think Cleveland prevails, and I'm also playing Cleveland.
The one thing you have to remember about Cleveland, I'm sure everybody remembers this happening a lot. They play right on the lake in Cleveland, and you have that lake effect weather, and it can change at any minute. There's been a lot of storms in the East Coast, so you've got to check the weather. I mean, you easily could have 20 to 40 mile an hour winds at any time. I mean, even if it's sunny out and it's nice, 15 minutes later it changes. So you got to really check it up to game time.
Bernie, I want to go with you a Sunday night game with Atlanta going to San Francisco. It's 2.5, 47.5. What are your thoughts on this game after the win for Atlanta this last week?
Well, my thoughts are who put the Maloika on the 49ers? Now, Fred Warner, the best linebacker in football, goes down. I mean, my God, who do they have left? But I can't back Atlanta if they're on a short week. They're 1-1 in 2 road games this year. They played an excellent game the other night against Buffalo, and I look for them to do the exact opposite this week in San Francisco. I feel like it's a 24-17 San Francisco win. I think this is a game where Kyle Shanahan, battens the hatches, and they come together and win the West.
Jeff?
Again, I agree with Bernie. I mean, in this spot, Atlanta off the short week, a huge win against Buffalo. You would only be on the 49ers, but again, you look at that 49er team. I mean, half the team's hurt. I mean, and very, very important players too. So, it's hard to know what you're getting with the 49ers. I mean, they're decimated with injuries. So I'm going to just pass because I don't know what you're getting. I mean, Warner is outstanding. They already lost both. I mean, as you just keep losing key personnel, eventually, it will catch up to you. So I'm going to pass.
Well, they put a crown on Atlanta's head the other night when they beat Buffalo, and I mean, this is what I'm talking about. The media doing this. Atlanta's a good team, but they're not a great team. And now they're going across country. Like you guys said, how do you know what to expect from a team that is as banged up as the 49ers? I don't know what's wrong with the 49ers, but every year they lose half their squad to injuries. I don't know what to do with something like this. Perhaps you look at the total and say, here's a team coming off the big game on Monday night. They won the game. They flattened out in the second half. They didn't score much in the second half. And you got San Francisco with all these injuries. You might start looking at the under.
Bernie, I wanted to start purposely with you with this Monday night game. With Tampa heading to Detroit. First off, this is going to be a hell of a game. But secondly, do you think this could be a preview of the NFC Championship?
That's the narrative. It certainly could be. And I look for the Lions offense to explode this week. They're averaging 44 points a game at home. They're 2-0 against the number at home. Yes, they're having those cluster injuries in the secondary. That's a problem. And it really showed up against the Chiefs. This is a get-after week for the Lions. I'm talking to Moles, Dan Campbell. They had the situation with Jared Goff they weren't buttoned up on right on down the line. I like this Tampa Bay team a lot. Last year, week 2, this very same spot, Tampa Bay was getting 8 points. They weren't outright. Now they're getting 4.5. I'm laying the wood here. I'm gonna roll with the Lions and lay the wood in a spot play here because I think this is a game Detroit knows the whole world's watching, and they have something to say, and I think they're gonna get max effort.
I'm looking right here. It looks like the Lions at now 5.5 and 52.5 total. Jeff, what are you going to do with this game?
I don't have a play on the game, but again, in this spot, I like teams coming off of a loss coming home. A lot, if you play that spot, typically, you're going to be better off. So it would be Detroit or nothing in this spot. Tampa, though, plays a lot of close games for whatever reason. I mean, Tampa and San Francisco. I mean, they both. I mean, every one of their games has come down to the end. So I'm not sure, but again, so many injuries to Tampa. So I would think Detroit or nothing here.
Jeff, who's that receiver for Tampa? Tez, somebody that caught that great pass to Johnson.
Yeah.
Great story. Yeah, so he makes a hell of a catch. First touchdown. They're a little banged up too. I think they're getting Mike Evans back, Tampa Bay. So anyway, he comes back to the sideline and they're just loving Baker Mayfield. And they're cheering MVP. Tez Johnson looks at his buddy and says, "Wow, I haven't even done anything in this league yet." He goes, "We're not talking about you, you idiot." He did a nice backflip.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Hell of a catch.
Yeah, that was a 10 on the backflip.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to play on this game?
Well, I have a lot of things to say about Tampa Bay. I bet Tampa Bay in July to be in the NFC Championship game, to win it, to get to the Super Bowl. I have 28-1 on Baker to be the MVP. That was back in July, so it's at real good positions. And they, unbelievable, the way Mayfield is playing with the passion, the perseverance that he has, all these injuries, he just doesn't give a shit. And he just goes out there and does it each and every day. And I don't see it stopping. I know I'm a big Lion fan also. So in this spot, it's also what Jeff said. Loss coming home is perfect. But the line's too big. These two teams are very, very good. And the two quarterbacks are very good. And the coaches are very good. This line is too big. You're talking about giving 6 points to a team like Tampa? I got to pass. Look, I'm going to play the over for sure. And if it gets to 6, if it's solid, I can find the 6. I'm taking the 6.
Let me stay with you at the other Monday night game with the Texans going to Seattle. That line's at 3.5, total at 40.5. Do you like Seattle here at home?
Seattle would be a money line play for me. I wouldn't lay 3.5, but I would think Houston's offense is not very good. Their offensive line is not very good. Their defense is good. They're a good defensive coach. But Seattle's playing, their hair is on fire. I mean, they're just playing great ball. And playing at home, Darnold is out of sight. They're the better team, in my opinion. 3.5's a lot to lay. So I'm playing a money line play on Seattle.
Ernie.
Well, Houston looked terrible a month ago. Now they've won 2 in a row and they're coming off the bye. And Jackson Smith and Jigba looks like everything they hoped he be. It's odd. Seattle's 1 and 2 straight up at home, and they're laying points. So you can make a case for both sides. I'm gonna stay off.
Jeff.
I'll also stay off at the Seattle's played better on the road. Obviously, they keep winning on the road, and they used to, with the 12th man. I used to live in Seattle. I mean, that stadium gets loud, and it used to be a huge home field. But lately they've been playing better on the road, and Houston is off of a bye. So I mean, it favors Houston in that. So I'm passing.
Any questions from anybody in our audience? Yes, Scott Pritchard.
Just 2 quick points to the panel's point and question. It's easy to pile on the JETS, Jets. They've been perfect 0-6. But there was a less than a 0% chance this team will go 0-17. 2 reasons. One, they lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team that had lost just 1 game. They lost by 2 points. And let's not forget, last weekend on a neutral field against that killer defense of Denver, 2-point game short. The other thing is, I want to agree with everyone regarding the Niners versus the Falcons. The Falcons are world beaters at home, but they suck on the road.
They're coming across the United States.
Well,
Right.
3 time zones, 3,000 miles, outdoors on grass. They went on the road 2-3 weeks ago to Carolina, had their asses handed to them 30-0. So I love what you say about the Niners.
I agree, Jeff, Scott. They're not going to go 0-17. I covered the 0-16 Lions. I was there. I did the pre and post. Now, I'll just give you one weird thing that happened. This can't keep happening. Everybody remembers Dan Orlovsky running out of the end zone. Okay, that was week 4 against Minnesota. Lions lost 12-10 by 2 points. Orlowski's under center, doesn't like what he sees, calls timeout. They go over. They change the play to the shotgun. Orlowski goes, "You sure we're going on the shotgun? I'm in the end zone." "Yeah, we're on a shotgun," and he runs out of bounds. That was the legendary Rod Marinelli. You almost got to try to go 160. And the Jets haven't stopped competing. They're just not very good. They don't have a major league quarterback. So you're not wrong. It's zero chance they go 117. No.
Any other questions? All right, we want to thank J-Lo. We're going to give away 3 bottles of wine. So hang on after the outro, and we will take care of that. Next week, Jim, we are going to have Ken Thompson and Lou Finicario is going to be here with us next week. So we're going to have 2 more. Every week we just get 2 heavy hitters. They just keep coming.
The heavy hitters keep coming. We have a great show, great content. I want to thank these 2 gentlemen for being here. Great input. Really appreciate it.
Let's give a round of applause for Jim Feist, Bernie Fratto, and Jeff Whitelaw, everybody. Good luck on your bets, and make sure you get the great food here at Down DeMarco's. We are at 9785 West Charleston Boulevard. My name is Tommy Canale. We will see you guys next week.